Good morning and welcome to our Women's Wednesday Entrepreneur Series. I'm Brandy Stitt, the Program Director for the Kansas City Women's Business Center, and thank you for joining us this morning. This is part of our weekly series of educational programs for entrepreneurs that are looking for resources to help them with their business during this pandemic time. We've been hosting weekly sessions on a variety of topics from supply chain management, cybersecurity, HR, cash flow management, social media, a whole gamut of topics. We are recording this session. We have been sharing all of the recordings on our Women's Business Center YouTube channel, and we will share that link with everyone once we have this posted. So feel free to reference that if you'd like to revisit this session, or if you'd like to check out some of the previous sessions that we've hosted as part of this series. This morning, we're going to focus on the importance of having a strong business banking relationship. We found that this was extremely important, especially during the time when we had so many businesses trying to apply for the Paycheck Protection Program loans that were struggling because they did not have that solid relationship in place, which is why we really wanted to have this session to help our members understand how important that is. So for today's session, we're going to start with Angela Hurt. She's the CEO of Veracity Consulting, and she's going to share her member experience as part of her relationship with CommunityAmerica Credit Union. And then we'll jump into the presentation with Erin Evans and Nami Twaddle with CommunityAmerica Credit Union. During part of their presentation, they are going to have a couple of poll questions. So when we get to those slides, if you would chat your responses into the chat box, we'll relay those messages, and that can help us as we kind of tailor the conversation for today. So for right now, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Angela Hurt, CEO of Veracity Consulting.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me again, Brandy, as I think this is maybe our third time to be part of the One for KC series for women in business. I just want to give a quick thank you also to Erin and team for inviting me to be the member that you chose to kind of talk about my experience. And to talk about this experience, well, I feel like I really need to kind of back it up to the beginning of me actually having or starting Veracity, because it's very important from the perspective of a banking relationship. If I didn't have a relationship with a banker, I would not have Veracity at all to this day, because the importance of knowing somebody who knows you and believes in you oftentimes can be that differentiator of make or break in many instances. And so that kind of started with me years ago with happening to know a guy in a bank who had the authority to probably do something for me that maybe I wasn't quite in a position to, let's say if I had to put all my assets in a bucket and get that loan, I probably couldn't have done it. But what I did have was a lot of passion, and I had a relationship, and this gentleman had a lot of faith in me. So that was great. So that leads me to future states. I think I've been a customer with CommunityAmerica. Well, since CommunityAmerica has launched their enterprise or their commercial practice, I've been a customer. I was privileged to be able to have Veracity be one of the pilot customers as they were going through and building out their system and what they were looking for it to do. Erin, can you let me know if you can still hear me? Because I see Brandy just frozen on the. Okay, great. I thought there for a second that I'm just staring at a dark screen here. Anyway, so my relationship with CommunityAmerica, I've been a member of CommunityAmerica personally for probably 10 years or so. And that led to many relationships that I had there, but also through different roundtables and organizations of which I met some of the executives there at CommunityAmerica. But the real importance for me is the fact that CommunityAmerica, they are exceptional at getting to know you and getting to know your business. So if you're going to have a successful banking relationship, it's not just you getting to know your banker. It is them getting to know you, what makes you tick, and what makes your business successful. When you start talking about cash flow, all of the things that would be necessary to keep your business afloat, if they don't understand what your needs are, they can't serve you as well. And so it's extremely important that that happens. And Community America has done a phenomenal job of doing that. I came to Community America coming from, I started at a small community bank. I ended up at a larger big name bank here in Kansas City. And honestly, I had a rough year that previous year. And as much as I loved the individuals that I worked with there, they didn't have much of the authority to go to bat for Veracity, on my behalf. And when I came to Community America and sat down with the leaders of the commercial practice and went through things, there was this confidence of we know you and we trust you, and we're going to make this work. So that was, Erin, how many years ago? How long has this been now?
Gosh, we are approaching 4 years.
Is it really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's exceptional. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, you talk about the pandemic, you talk about any experience or anything that happens in your business life cycle. We all have our ups and downs. And the really important thing is as those things happen, you have to have that relationship with, I'd say not only your direct banker that you work with, but I would also try to build that relationship with people all around them so that you have a holistic view, and so others have a holistic view of your business, so that when times do get difficult, that you can pick up the phone and make those conversations, have those conversations that allows them to understand where you are and meet you where you need to be. And that's kind of what's happened for me at Community America. So, the pandemic, PPP, there were tons of changes. I know a lot of people that really had a difficulty and struggled through this process of, number one, not really sure. The uncertainty was so extreme for so many people, and not understanding what the SBA was going to do from a PPP perspective, changing regulations, which is extremely difficult for an individual as you're trying to run your business and figure out what's next. Having to keep up with that as well is pretty overwhelming. And Community America did a great job of communicating to their members, their commercial clients. But when you don't have that relationship, though, sometimes those things can drop off as well. So I've worked hard to build a relationship. I think when I first started Veracity, I said the two most important things you can do is build a good relationship with the banker and with your accountant. And if you've noticed, both of those happen to be money related. It's where's your cash flow and how are you supporting your business? And then understanding from an accounting perspective of what you're doing with that, and are you making good, wise choices with the profits that might come in from your business, and how do you continue cash flow? And so it's something that I've preached for years as I've talked to entrepreneurs about that relationship. But I think that this was one of the, say, 2 times that it came to light so strongly of how important it was. Because, there were weeks, and those weeks of the announcement of the PPP, and then once it was finally available, not having my go-to, if it weren't for me being able to pick up the phone or text Debbie at Community America, I probably would have gone crazy. And I know a lot of people did feel, very left in the dark and uncertain. And a lot of the folks who were in those positions often didn't have that personal relationship. Get to know people's family. It's pretty hard to not want to be there for them when they're, when there's in those times of needs. So yeah, I have nothing but glowing things to say about the entire team of Community America, my experience, my team's experience. My director of finance feels every bit as much, value and valued as I do. And I think that's also extremely important. So they don't just hone in on me, they kind of create an approach with my entire team, which has been really phenomenal. The other thing that I would point out is, the benefit of a brand new commercial practice also comes with some pretty nice technology. For any of you who might still carry around a fob, you would love knowing that you can access your account from your mobile phone with no problem. As a business owner, that's important. I'm not in our checking account day in and day out. I have other people that do a lot of stuff for the organization, and the technology allows for checks and balance that I didn't really have before, and I didn't have time before because I had to be in front of my laptop, or I had to be very specifically with my fob So that's been a huge, huge blessing for myself personally. And I know that the team has really, really embraced the technology and love that as well. The self-service is phenomenal. Is there anything else, Erin, that you'd like to hear me cover? Any questions?
Gosh, I mean, thank you, Angie, for being here with us today. You have hit on a lot of things that, I was going to talk about. And so, I mean, I feel like we're very much on the same page, and it's just been a delight to have you as one of our members. And as you mentioned, piloting and helping us test those products early on in the early stages was very important to get feedback from our members for those products. So, and if I remember right, I think you tested one for us, and it actually ended up being something that you found very valuable for your business and was able to help, uncover some things. So yeah, I just agree with everything that you said, and I really appreciate you being here with us today. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, I am going to, Brandy, are you still with us?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, Erin, you should be able to share your screen.
Okay.
Share your slides, yeah.
Sure will. Okay, can you see those?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you again, Angie. Appreciate you being here so much. It's just been a great relationship on both sides for us. So very grateful. So as Brandy said, I'm Erin, and I am a relationship manager at CommunityAmerica, and I primarily work with our members on the lending process. So I wanted to talk to you guys today give a couple of examples of how Angie mentioned when it is important to have a strong relationship with your financial institution, bank, or credit union. And as Angie mentioned, the PPP loan program process is most fresh in all of our minds. And so having a go-to person that you can pick up the phone and call throughout that process was very important to our members. And as Angie mentioned, I think a lot of our members' peace of mind, just knowing that they had somebody that they could call and get answers to questions when really there was such a huge period of uncertainty around that. And we were also able to work with our members through that time period if they were experiencing challenges in their business. So if they came to us and said, I may need to think about deferring payments for a couple of months, or I may need to think about, alternative forms of financing. We were able to work with those members through that process and help them get there and feel more comfortable in such an unprecedented time. So, and then real quick, just another example, we have a current business member. This happened about a year ago for them, but there was an emergency situation with their business and they actually had to shut down. And within 24 hours, we were able to extend a short-term loan to that member to get their business back open. And not only did that help them continue their business, but it also protected more than 30 of their employees that they had and helped those employees feel secure in their jobs as well and to continue to be able to collect a paycheck. So not only did it affect them, but also their employees. And that was just something that we were able to do in that instance because we had an established relationship with that business member. Otherwise, we would not have been able to do that. So the best time to build a relationship with your financial institution is when you don't need one, so that they're there for you when you do need them. And so now I wanted to move into just talk a little bit about how we approach our relationships with our commercial members, specifically through that lending process. We do take a holistic approach, as Angie said, to the member relationship. So you are going to have a team of people that would work with you and get to know you and your business, the other members of your team, employees, and really understand how your business operates from a cash flow perspective, what your client base looks like, who your target market is, understanding the income that's coming into the business on a monthly basis, as well as managing expenses that are going out. Get a really good grasp on what your bottom number looks like at the end of the day, and really staying up to date with those numbers. So we're looking at financial statements, we're looking at your tax returns, profit and loss statement, balance statement, accounts receivable reporting, if you do have that as well. And really it's about managing a budget for your business, just like you would for your personal finances. So keeping track of that and keeping up to date on those numbers, whether you're working with an accountant to do that, or whether you're managing a QuickBooks program or something as simple as an Excel spreadsheet to, if you're kind of early in your business. Whatever way that you're using, just being able to understand those numbers and share those with a financial institution that you're working with, so that they can really help you. It also allows you to identify trends in your business. If you are seeing a decline in revenue, or if you are seeing an expense line item that just keeps creeping up, you're going to be able to identify those a lot quicker than you would if you're just reconciling your books every quarter, every year. So really keeping up with that on a monthly basis is going to benefit you. It is, your financial institution is going to be able to help you better as well. They're going to ask for those updated statements. And if you can just pull those and send those over, that's really going to help expedite the process if you're seeking credit and need it for a very, specific need in the short term. Additionally, working with your CPA, something that we see a lot in business members is that they want to maximize the amount of tax, or I should say limit the amount of tax liability that they have at the end of the year. And while we understand that and we love saving on taxes as well, it's important to remember that when you're seeking financing from a financial institution, that you're showing that you have cash flow to repay that debt. So at a minimum, we look at a 20% surplus on cash flow at the end of the year or end of the time period that we're analyzing to be able to repay that debt. And that includes that debt repayment. So just something to keep in mind, because we talk a lot to members about, their tax returns and that information, and just being able to show, that you do have a positive net income at the end of the day. And then lastly, I just wanted to touch on personal credit as well. It is important to maintain a strong personal credit profile when seeking financing for your business. Most financial institutions are going to require a personal guarantee from the owners of the business on any sort of commercial financing. And so we are also reviewing personal tax returns. We're reviewing a personal credit report, personal financial statement listing personal assets and liabilities. And so it's also very important to make sure that you're maintaining a good personal credit profile, that you're keeping your credit report clean and making payments on time and things like that, because that will have an impact on your availability to borrow as a business. And on this slide, we just have a few examples of some types of financing within the commercial banking department. Of course, commercial real estate, whether that be owner occupied or investment, lines of credit, secured by accounts receivable that help you meet your expense needs while you're waiting for those accounts receivable to be collected that you have been billed out for. Also, just something to mention in terms of the financial statements, anytime we have an existing member that has a line of credit with us, we are going to require an updated monthly financial statement. So that's just also another important reason to keep on top of those items. Of course, and then we have equipment and vehicle loans for businesses as well. So, Brandy, do we have the ability to do that poll question, or do we want to just keep moving on?
Yeah, I think if you go ahead and just ask it, and we can have people put the responses in the chat.
Okay. So I was just curious for the participants out there today, what are the challenges that you're seeing in the current environment today? Obviously, with the pandemic going on, that's presenting a lot of challenges for businesses, but I was just curious what you guys are seeing and how you're working through those challenges, and maybe even specifically how you're working with your financial institution.
Erin, I know you can't see the chat, but I'm not seeing any responses yet.
Okay. We will just move on. I am going to transition over to Nami Twaddle. She's on our commercial deposit relationship. And so she's going to talk about that and what that relationship looks like with us. Real quick, I will just point out that from a business lending standpoint, it is extremely important for us to also have the commercial deposit accounts at CommunityAmerica to be able to evaluate the entire relationship. So she's also going to touch on some of the importance of that as well. Nami?
Perfect. Thank you, Erin. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. As Erin mentioned, I am part of the Treasury Management Relationship Team with CommunityAmerica. What we do is the Treasury Services provides resources and tools in place to streamline your day-to-day cash flow needs and cash positioning needs. Well, what does that really mean? Businesses a lot of times think about their capital needs, but are not sometimes thinking about their day-to-day needs as far as payroll, credit card processing, will you accept credit card payments, fraud protection to secure your money. This is where your Treasury Services team comes into play. We will provide a suite of solutions to help that are designed for your business of all sizes to help you grow and continue to grow. I've had several members, when we first sit down with them, they'll say, well, don't you just hold my money or give me money? Yes, but there are so many other services that are available to businesses to maximize your efficiencies that sometimes the newer business owners are not aware of. So with that, at CommunityAmerica, as we've mentioned, we do take a holistic approach to your business relationship. We want to sit down with you, get to know you for your business, what your challenges are, what your upcoming wins are, who are your competitors in the market. Once we have dug a little deeper with you and get to know the business a little bit better, typically I start out with recommending a small business checking account, and that will help you familiarize yourself with the products and services that are available for businesses and features within your online banking, mobile accessibility. As Angela mentioned earlier, mobile accessibility is huge right now, especially in this next normal phase that we're in. Everybody's working remote. You want to have a good online banking platform to be able to log in, view where your finances are, and also be able to give other users rights to be able to view your accounts within the organization. So you as a business owner have your trusted team to help manage your day-to-day expenses. You want to build that relationship with your team. So your Treasury Services team will also be part of your business family along with the lending team. At CommunityAmerica, we do take a stacked sales approach to each member relationship. And what that means is you have a member of the lending team as part of your relationship team, someone from the deposit side, as well as someone from our retail team. So you want to not only build that relationship with your commercial team, but also your local branch network. The branches will be your frontline staff to help with any of your personal account needs, your home equity lines of credit, and all of this plays into the larger piece of your lending relationship with any institution. So you always want to continue to build that. Granted, sometimes this will start out with just one product or service, but it is also something that continues to grow as your business continues. And within the Community America team, as I mentioned, we do have a vast network of branches that are available to all of our members, and each branch does a phenomenal job with your member experience. So you always want to get to know not only your commercial team, but also part of the branch network, and that is your full business family. So in the end, you just want to have a financial institution that best fits your personal as well as your business needs and provides you that financial peace of mind as a business owner. And then, Brandy, I'm going to go forward with the question I had for the participants. I wanted to see how often you are collaboratively working with your banking partner. Are you having communications with them on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis? Are you hearing from them as often, especially during this time of uncertainty and, like I mentioned, the next normal? If the participants just want to plug in some answers, that would be great. With Community America, we do reach out to all of our members, sometimes on a weekly basis, if not on a daily basis as needed. So I just wanted to get a feel for what everybody is experiencing as far as communications with their banking team.
And you can just put your responses in the chat box and I'll relay those to NAMI. One response says communication is limited.
Is that due to?
One person is saying they currently only have communication if they initiate it.
Okay, that's great. You do want to, is that due to specific, are you reaching out to them for specific questions? Are we anything related to your lending needs, deposit needs, or is it just no one's getting in touch with you because? How often would you like to hear from your banking partners? Are you wanting a daily communication, a weekly, monthly communication? This is just to all the participants. If I can see. It's great. I'm seeing some answers, Brandy, that are saying I would love to communicate weekly. Not really sure, don't know how often. Weekly is a great time frame. We do have usually on Fridays, we'll do a wrap up with all of our members. If you're waiting on something to hear from us, if there's a pending deposit account, services that we're waiting to add on, we do communicate with all of our members on where we stand. So we're not going into the weekend wondering what's going on. I'd say if you're not hearing from them, you definitely need to have some more communication with your banking team, especially right now when everybody is working remote and we're all on different playing fields at the time. So I would say definitely reach out more often to the bankers. And again, if you want to find a fit that best fits your business needs as well as your personal needs, and want to keep that line of communication open, good or bad, you just have to keep that line open. And we would welcome you at Community America to communicate weekly with you as well. So that's always an option, but I definitely say reach out to your bankers, make sure everyone is communicating and we're all on the same page and being transparent with your financial needs. You seen anything else come through, Brandy?
Nothing else.
Okay.
So I do know that we had an issue with the, excuse me, Eventbrite listing the time starting as 10:30 instead of 10. So we've had a couple people join since we started. I don't know if we want to go back to have Erin cover some of her portion of the presentation. What are your thoughts? We are recording this so we can share. We will be sharing the recording, but I think for the people that just jumped on, it looks like they might be interested in hearing the first part of the presentation.
I would be happy to just kind of give a quick summary of what we talked about on the lending side. Let me just go back up there. So I would say the main takeaways from our business lending discussion would be that, you know, when we're working with our business members and reviewing those financial statements, that financial statements are up to date on a timely basis, that business owner understands the sources of revenue that are coming into the business. They're able to understand the expenses that are being sent out of the business, and really understanding what that break-even point is each month. So how much income do I need to have coming in to be able to cover my fixed monthly expenses? And then also what happens when something unexpected comes up? How am I going to handle that with my business as well? Maybe also something that we didn't really touch on, but Nami shared, you know, when your business is in a growth phase and you know, you may need some additional financing to purchase inventory or purchase some additional equipment, or you know, whatever the case may be. So through those growth periods, understanding, well, what is the expectation for growth and how much money do I really need and where am I going to be using it? So really understanding the request and the purpose for that financing need is important. You know, Angie touched on it, just having that open communication in the relationship with your financial institution. I think transparency is really important. And being able to share, you know, we know not every single month is going to be a great month or every year is going to be a great year. We understand that, especially during, you know, 2020. We'll be evaluating a lot of businesses next year that probably saw some dips in their revenue or changes in their financials throughout this year. And so understanding the why behind those numbers is very important for us to be able to build that relationship with you. So transparency is important, and then just being able to communicate, you know, what those reasons are. So I think sometimes members maybe feel like they need to hold back on some of that information if it's not so rosy, but it really is the opposite for us. We want as much information as we can to get a full picture of what's really going on. And then we're able to really provide good information and good advice on where we can go next, and feel confident about that recommendation, because, you know, we wouldn't want to give advice if we didn't understand the entire picture of what was going on. So I think those are the important things. And also, as Nami mentioned, that just, you know, we are about relationships. So it's much easier for us to evaluate a business owner who's asking for credit if we also have that commercial deposit relationship as well as that personal banking relationship with Community America. I think it makes for a better experience on the member side, having kind of a one-stop shop and a team that you can go to for all of your needs. I mean, for several business owners, personal finances are very much intertwined with business finances. So it all does work together. So that would be my advice there, is when you're thinking about borrowing from a financial institution, borrow from where you bank. And if that institution is not open to that lending conversation with you, then, it may be something to reconsider and reevaluate a new financial institution that can handle all of your needs. So those would be some of my highlights and takeaways. If anybody has any follow-up questions to that, I'd be happy to answer.
Erin, we do have a question.
Sure.
What if you're seeking financing for a new business venture?
Great question. We work a lot with the SBA, Small Business Administration. So we do offer SBA loans. And SBA loans are really good for new businesses because you're going to, a lot of your future revenue and expenses are going to be based on projections. So having a business plan that you have put together that outlines your business, what you want to achieve as a business, who your target market is, your ideal customer, putting together those financial projections. We have a lot of tools and resources that we can offer through that process. We also have a lot of partnerships within the community that we can direct those members to that can help constructing a business plan. A lot of also free services that are out there that can help those business owners just get their business off the ground. And I always like to say, if the answer is not right now, I'm going to give you the advice that you need to get you to a yes. So I'm going to help you understand where you need to get to for us to be able to, be in a position. But for a new business, definitely working with the Small Business Administration is a great option for new businesses that need financing.
So follow-on question, and I can answer this one as well. How do we get hooked up with resources, particularly reviewing a business plan? So that is what the Women's Business Center does. We provide free counseling services for individuals that are starting a business or that are seeking to grow a business. And so you can always reach out to us to schedule a virtual call, either phone call or virtual Zoom meeting to go through your business plan. We have programs that are specifically designed to help you develop a business plan if you don't already have one. So certainly we're a great resource if you'd like to get some help from us. There are also small business development centers that provide similar programs and services that are generally either free or at no cost. So certainly feel free to reach out to me directly and I can get you connected to some resources that will help. I'm gonna pop my email into the chat box so that you have my direct email address. So great question. Erin, did you wanna add anything onto that? Sorry, I just hijacked it.
No, please. I'm so glad that you did. Yes. So the answer is Brandy. That's the answer to the question.
Are there any other questions for anyone? So I know we had a little hiccup on timing, but we did record this webinar and we will be posting it on our YouTube channel. I will share the link to the YouTube channel once we have that posted so that you can access the full session for those of you that were that joined us a little bit late. So you'll get to see the full recording of this webinar. And I definitely would like to thank Erin and Nami and Angie for joining us this morning. Erin and Nami, do you have any final parting thoughts for the folks?
Just thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure to get to share, about Community America today. And again, thank you to Angie for spending the time with us. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thank you. And as I said, I'll share the link to this recorded webinar once we have it posted on our YouTube channel. Thank you all so much for joining us. Have a great day.